So, what would you guys say buying your T120s have made you a Triumph brand loyal rider?
I would say yes. If I was to go motorcycle shopping today, right now, I would probably go to the Triumph store. And whether that means I would be looking at one of their adventure bikes, or would I be looking at something else in the Bonneville line, or would I be looking at who knows what else? They got a lot of different kinds of stuff, don't they? Right? They've got the what is the name of that cruiser-looking machine?
Rocket.
Rocket, yeah. No, the
Megalith.
not the bobber, but what is the name of that the newer
Speed
one?
Twin?
Speed Twin?
No, the newer one that looks like feet forward type stuff. It's like a cruiser thing.
Oh, the Speedmaster?
Speedmaster, that's the one, right? Yeah, there's that thing, which I don't think, I don't like it, but more power to you if you want one. But they have a lot of different stuff.
I've heard a couple of my viewers interested in the Speedmaster, which I'm like, hey, it's a Triumph, it's not a Harley, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, it might be the Triumph for the Harley rider. I really like the Tiger. I'm a loyal in the sense that I would consider them first, if that answers the question.
So you wouldn't consider like a Japanese motorcycle?
I would. Oh, absolutely. I would consider all of that. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm not against any of those, but I would probably start with see what Triumph has, and if I can't find it there, then start looking at other things. Yeah.
Okay.
Before I got the Bonneville, I was really leaning towards the XSR 900.
Oh, yeah.
And if I hadn't stumbled across the Bonneville and read Peter Egan's article about it, I probably would be talking to a bunch of XSR enthusiasts right now.
The hooligan assholes. Oh wait, I'd still be here.
Right. I didn't say it, but
I'll say
I don't have a problem with all those bikes.
So Triumph wasn't even on my radar at all when I started looking for adventure bikes 3 years ago. And Scotty said, let's go over to the Triumph dealership. I want to look at a Bonneville. So I said, I'll go with you. I no question, no idea about. I wasn't even considering a Triumph. I know, I'm old school. I've been around a while. I know about Lucas Electrics and Triumphs, and the perceived reliability.
Stay away.
Yeah. So, Scotty's talking about buying a Bonneville, and I'm like, it's a Triumph. You want a Triumph? So, go to the dealership with him, and I was really impressed by the bikes, and so impressed. I've bought 2 of them now, right? So I have the Explorer, and you talk about brand loyal. So they've really turned me around with their products, and there's a lot of work by the new Triumph and what they're doing with quality and stuff like that. And so I said, I'm a 2-time buyer now, so I'm pretty loyal to Triumph, and I'm gonna buy a bunch of different bikes, but I think I'll always have a Triumph in my garage.
Yeah, it's interesting. I am also a 2-time Triumph owner, having had the Street Twin, the dearly departed, too bad, Street Twin, and now the T120. I'm not sure. It's funny, Scotty. I didn't know you were looking at XSRs, and I too is looking at that XSR.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that we were looking at the same thing.
No, it's not even like I had a chance to.
I'm not.
I guess I might think about a sport touring bike at some point, and whether that's a Tiger or maybe a Tracer or something like that. That's often the distant future, though, and I think I too would go to Triumph first and see what's available there before I made any other decision.
Okay.
All right, Jedz, turn that high-powered insight on yourself.
Oh.
Have you become brand loyal?
I've never been brand loyal to like anything. I usually leads me down to a path of disappointment when I figure that out.
Isn't that the charm, though? Isn't that the charm of Triumph, is being disappointed?
Yeah.
That's what we signed up for.
Right. That's why we pay the Triumph tax. I am actually a proud Triumph owner. I really enjoy my motorcycle. I think it still is one of the best. It is the best standard motorcycle on the market right now. It's very hard for me to say this, but I would probably consider Triumph motorcycles if I was looking at a new one again, just because.
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
They pull me back in because they offer a stellar warranty and stellar customer service.
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong. I come from a long lineage of Japanese motorcycles: FC1, Bandit 1200, GS 750. Which is on the wall over there. That was my first motorcycle, my TU 250X. All Concours 1400, all great motorcycles. They were reliable, they never broke down, but they lacked that kind of zing that the Triumph has, and this dealer support just wasn't there. I bought, my first bike that I bought from the dealer was my Concours 14, and they basically was like, here's the keys, here's the fob, have a good one. And I was on my way, and it was fine. But with the Triumph, it's kind of like the Harley vibe. I did the Harley thing for a year, which I'll never do again. And
that was the gateway drug.
Oh God,
that was the gateway drug
right.
into the Triumph, you know.
Because I learned my love for 2-cylinder engine motorcycles.
Yeah.
I was like, why have I just confined myself to 4-bangers? What have I been doing my whole life? But
that Harley got you down to Florida to ride my bike. So
yes, and you converted me to a Triumph. So I would have to say I am brand loyal. I go to my dealer and I'm like, oh yes, I'll buy a Triumph T-shirt today, and you know,
here's your $40.
Right, and here's your 40. My dealer is awesome. I have a really, really good relationship with Triumph Vermont, and I think it's because I probably have one of the highest T120s with mileage as is. So, it's great. I really, really enjoy being a Triumph owner. Now, will it mean I'm going to keep buying Triumph next time, brand new? Who knows? But I'll definitely consider it first.
Right. One quick plug to the Triumph dealerships, and if you haven't been to a Triumph dealership, you got to go, because I haven't been to a Triumph dealership that I didn't like. I mean, there's a different vibe in a Triumph dealership. It's very relaxed, very easygoing. Mm-hmm. I love going to Triumph dealerships because there's no hard sell. It's just, they're very friendly. It's like going to a pub.
Come on in. How's it going? You want a cup of coffee? Do you want a Coke?
Yeah. It's just
look around.
It's fun. It's a great atmosphere. They got great teams. So I'm really impressed by the dealership network.
I'll second that. The Raleigh Triumph dealer is great. You get to know the guys. They get to know you. They're always welcoming, happy to chat. And it's a really stark contrast because our Triumph dealership shares the floor space with the Harley dealership. Man, it's like you know.
I'm surprised Satan hasn't come in through the floor.
You need a visa to go across the room. I mean, it's like you're going into a different country.
It's like Checkpoint Charlie, right? We're going from West Germany into East Germany.
There's custom officers on the sales floor.
Sorry, you're not wearing black. You can't come in here.
You know, these salesmen of the Triumph places know that if you come in and visit and look around, and if they can get you to ride one and take it around the block, you're going to come back and you're going to go, that was smooth.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have you hooked.
And that's
all they got to do is get you to ride one.
Right. And they make it easy because they have all the bikes ready to go at Triumph Raleigh. They're all in the garage ready to go. You can jump on it and, no pressure. Have a nice time.
Doug and I visited all 3 of the Triumph dealerships in South Florida, right? Miami, we went to the one up in Stewart, and we went to the one, our home base, Two Wheels World in Pompano.
Lakeland.
And across the board, we went over to Lakeland too. I forgot about that place. That was a cool Fun Bike Center in Lakeland.
Fun Bike Center.
That is a big dealership.
Yep.
And really nice people over there. But everywhere you go in, it's the same. It's like, hey, how's it going? Want a Coke? Yep. How you doing? What are you riding?
Yep. Yeah, great folks.
Would you consider the T120 a good value?
Good value. Well, I got a killer deal on mine. So yeah, because that other bonehead, decided he didn't want a black and white one. I'm gonna pass on this one. I want to hear you guys' answers. Maybe I can't think of an inspired answer on this one.
Okay.
I mean, I'll jump in because same thing. I mean, I got a great deal on mine. I no complaints in that regard.
Right. Well, being that I just bought one, I'm the most recent new buyer here, a great value. So the other bike I was considering was the Kawasaki, right? The
Z900.
Z9 RS or whatever it is. Nice standard bike. So it comes in a little bit cheaper than the Triumph.
Yeah.
So is it a good value? I would say they're a little bit on the high side for what you're getting. At least on the standard bikes. Now, if you're talking adventure bikes, I think there's a really good value in the adventure bikes. But on the standard bikes, probably you're paying a little bit of a premium, I think. But boy, it's an awesome bike. It's worth every penny.
and I guess value also takes into account, cost of ownership throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an expensive bike to own.
It gets exceptional fuel mileage.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yep.
Gas mileage? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about like the cost of a typical, dealer service is not, up in, Goldwyn prices and stuff like that. It's it's not an expensive bike to own.
That's true. Yeah.
What kind of gas mileage are you guys getting?
I don't know.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. I didn't kill my wife.
I put gas in it and I ride it. I don't have enough miles to tell, but
I'm in the mid 50s, generally speaking. A little bit as the weather gets colder. And I'm on the highway for a long time. I will creep over 60 miles a gallon.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm 50 or 60, 55, 60, something like that.
Yeah, 50, 55 is pretty consistent. I'm pretty hard on it. So
if you put the bags on the sides, it'll knock off. Like I've noticed my bags, they stick out like kind of vertically. They'll knock like 5 miles per gallon right off.
Really? Huh.
But the Lomo bags are sleeker, like they're more aerodynamic.
Yeah, they don't stick out as
The
much.
Lomos are sort of like held in, but the Triumph ones are like a couple of barn doors going down the road. So
speed also affects the gas mileage.
Yep.
Much more so than cars, I've noticed. So
huge.
I know with the BMW, if I put it in the wind, the gas mileage just goes. So
Yep. I would have to say the T120 is pretty good at value just because of the warranty. I've looked at what I would have paid if I bought a Japanese bike and it would have gone out of warranty. Now, saying a Japanese bike was to break or not, up in the air, right? But it's about $5,000-$6,000. So, and I bought a base model T120. It was a 10 plus.
Yeah, you would have bought half the bike over again.
Right. So I would definitely say the bike is pretty good at value just because it's good on gas. It doesn't eat tires as crazy as some of my other bikes. The chains last reasonably. The service interval is just ridiculous. It's like crazy. I've actually went to 5,000 miles because I just don't feel right going to 10,000 miles.
Right.
But it only takes 4 quarts of oil, and it's a cheap filter that's found on other bikes, so it's not like an expensive hard part to find.
Right.
I'm going to say I think the T120 delivers a pretty good value.
If you could if you could sit down with the design team at Triumph for lunch and they were going to adopt one suggestion that you made and you knew you had the power to make one change, what do you think you would do to this bike?
Up the compression. More power.
So you want a speed twin?
No. I'm not, I don't understand why they didn't put that type of motor in the T120. It's not unfeasible for them to make a 100 horsepower 1200 cc bike or a 90 horsepower 1200 cc bike. and still have that mid-range power. They've been doing it with the SV1000, you know, the Honda RC51. They have smaller displacement V-twins that are two cylinders because our 270-degree inline twin acts like a V-twin. The possibility is there. I just not really sure why they kind of skimped down on the power. Maybe it was to create reliability.
Reliability.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. You would have broken 3 transmissions by now.
Whatever.
I mean, it's kind of, and I don't mean to sound a little weird with this, but it's kind of a gentleman's bike, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say, for people of a certain age, this bike feels...
Yeah, and Jedz is the exception in this, and that's fine. But it's kind of, you know, put on your tweed jacket and take a ride down to the pub, laddie. You know, it's the perfect Stuart Fillingham bike. You know what I mean by that, right? It's just kind of, it's gentlemen, let's go take a ride through the countryside.
One wheel off the ground.
There's one guy in the country who's taking it up the mountains with one wheel off the ground, and then there's everybody else says, let's go out for our Sunday ride, our constitutional. So I think the power for that kind of motorcycle is perfect. You know, it's perfectly powered for that kind of motorcycle. And there's nothing wrong with the way you want to ride it. You want it to be the beast. So
right. And I'm going to say this as well. I'm not saying that it's underpowered, and it's definitely not underpowered. That motorcycle is just a perfect bike. It keeps me out of trouble.
You should spend a month on a 900C air-cooled Bonneville and then think about the power on this bike, because that bike does not go.
Yeah, no.
That bike does not go.
You mean
Sorry,
like
Crash.
Right.
Sorry, Crash.
Street Twin, I think it's at 55 horsepower or something like that, the 900cc. And so, where are the T120s? Like 70 something? I can't remember.
I don't remember the numbers.
For the 900?
No, for our bike.
Our horsepower, 74 horsepower, and 78 foot-pounds of torque, if I believe.
Yeah, right.
If you do just modifications, I'm probably pushing closer to 80, 82. I should put it on the dyno to know for sure. Wheel, which is fine. 1-to-1 is great.
I think you should go test ride a Thruxton R.
No. I like my shoulders.
I don't want shoulder surgery at 50.
They're so gorgeous, the new ones. What are the TFC or whatever it is?
Oh, mama.
Oh, my God.
Oh, mama. I think you need to go ride one.
Yeah, how much are those things?
15?
Yeah, they're not
I
cheap.
think so. They're pricey.
Yeah.
I think you need to go ride one.
They get a premium.
No.
So, Scotty, if there's one thing that I would like the designers to add to the bike, and this probably applies to all motorcycles, is a seventh gear.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I try to go to 7th gear. And even on the Bonneville, which is geared fairly low, and you know, the engine's not struggling in 6th gear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to go for 7th gear. So 7th gear, I want 7 speeds.
You want a 7th gear motorcycle.
Yeah, I like it the way it is. I'm pretty happy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Next question.
So let's wrap this up. So to wrap this up, if someone's coming onto this video download podcast thing, whatever we're making here, this roundtable discussion, if someone's on here looking to buy a T120, what would you say to that person, and why they should consider buying a 1200cc water-cooled Triumph Bonneville?
Look at it.
I mean,
look at it.
Here's my answer. There's
Exactly.
my answer. I would honestly say go ride one, and I guess, you know, if you want to look cool like these guys, you know, you know, I mean, this is a motorcycle to me, right? I'm the age, I was 4 years old when Happy Days came out, and my dad made sure we watched it every single week. And so I thought this guy was the coolest person on all of TV. And he rode a Triumph. Look at that Triumph logo. Look at it. Look at it. Look at that TR5. But I would say, you know, go ride one, and if it feels good, do it.
Right.
You only live
Yeah,
once.
this is, and you guys will see me do this, but whenever I get off this bike and go, you know, go into a store or whatever, I'll stop and turn around and look at it.
Here's Doug.
This is every time I get off the bike, I'll turn around and look at it. And Scott, I've been riding with Scott Light, and we park together, and I tell you what, the two bikes look so cool parked together.
Yeah.
It's kind of like ebony and ivory, right? Thing.
Right.
Nighttime, daytime thing going. Right? So,
I get off the bike, I start walking away, I turn around and look at it, and then I have to take a picture.
Right.
And I just think it's such a versatile bike. I mean, it's great for commuting, for just running around town, but to be able to do a little touring on it as well. It's very comfortable, very capable. For me, we're doing a little bit more technical riding in the mountains. The bike was just fantastic. I just felt it was really reliable, built confidence. You could get it around the corners, you could get it up the hill, and that torque down at the low end was just, it just really reassuring and like I say, builds confidence. So I like the versatility of this bike. It's more than just a street bike or a, commuting bike. I mean, you guys know better than I do. I mean, geez, Scotty, Jedz, you guys have done serious long trips on this machine.
Yeah.
So, you can maybe attest to that, but I just like that it's so versatile.
It was fun on the Dragon, wasn't it, Jedz?
Yeah. Oh,
It was a good bike for the Dragon.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I would have to say, if someone were to ask me why they should buy a Bonneville or consider it, it's just, compared to everything else on the market, it's actually a motorcycle. It's what a motorcycle was 50 years ago, and they've embodied that perfectly today with the T120. It's modern. It has a 1200cc engine, so it's going to keep up with the Joneses on power and displacement.
It's got ABS and traction control and fuel injection and a clock and heated grips and all that cruise control stuff, but it looks like Bonzi would ride it.
Yeah. It looks like it looks and rides like a motorcycle. Yeah. And I'm with Doug. I'm the same way. I say it in my video. I said it in my videos a couple of times. It's that bike you just can't stop looking at. You want to ride it because you look at it you're like, oh man, I can't wait to ride that thing. And then when you get on it, you just can't get the hell off of it because it's so much fun.
It is.
And
yep.
I've owned a lot of bikes, and other than some minor issues, this is probably one of my most favorite bikes I've owned because it has so much personality. The engine talks to you. The transmission is seamless and smooth. The suspension, when it's tuned in, is just it's a laser in the turns, and it just takes me anywhere I want to go. I'm like, I think I'm going to go visit Doug today, or I'm going to go down and see my AmenMoto brothers, in Asheville, North Carolina, and I can just do that, and it will do that. And I would have to say, yes, you may find a more reliable motorcycle with the Japanese bikes, but you're not going to find that soul and that care and that fit and finish you're going to find on the T120.
Well said. Well said,
Very
young man.
Very nice.
And on that bombshell.
And on that bombshell.
I think we made a pretty good collective argument for this bike. I mean,
now I
Maybe
want to
go buy
another
one. Exactly.
That's the other bike.
I think I want another one now.
No, this one's going to have over 100,000 miles on it, I'm pretty sure. I just like
this year.
No. I would love to, but I can't because of winter. Well, thank you, folks, so much for joining me and us this evening. Thank you, viewers, for taking the time to stop in and listen about this discussion. As always, I love reading your feedback, so please comment and like below. And you can always directly email me at Jedz@JedzMoto.com. I do my best to be as responsive as possible. Please tune in to see the boys at AmenMoto at www.AmenMoto.com, and Scotty Light, which is a very common guest on those AmenMoto videos.
Yep.
The Scotts and Doug, any last words for the viewers?
Get out and ride.
Well said.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
And I guess on that note, if you can, ride, get out and do so. Best.